Us, and in case you're joining us at this particular moment in time, you're just in time for what is making headlines on the local dailies this particular morning, on a day that the National Police Service continues to come under fire over the move to withdraw the security detail of Judge Lawrence Mugambi. Now, yet again, a very good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Now, I just want us to begin with the People Daily. And they say, vengeance on judges, grand impunity. Security of judge who convicted head of police withdrawn even as questions linger over silence by officials on the face of shamelessness, denigration of the temple of justice. Honorable Tom, as a lawmaker yourself, what do you make of the move by the NPS to withdraw the security detail of a judge?
Thank you very much for giving us opportunity to share with Kenyans today in the morning. Almost all headlines today is about this case of Inspector General.
Yes.
And the judge. But if you go by what the People Daily has reported, I think it is true, because there is no reason at all to withdraw security of a judge. And if you are withdrawing for all those reasons they are talking about, why not replace immediately? Give another officer to take cover. So it's purely on revancheism. You can't convince any Kenyan that it's done in good faith.
Well, Dr. Mark, I mean, the police IG and the NPS issued a statement late into the night yesterday, or rather, let me say this morning, because it was at around midnight, and the statement read in part, other than the president, the deputy president and the retired president, no other Kenyan is entitled by law to be provided with personal security detail. Now, the two officers guarding the judge were recalled for purposes of attending VIP security courses. Very lame reason, you'd say.
Ian, I wouldn't use those harsh words because the headlines are screaming. And statements are statements. I would put it that way. Mheshimiwa would tell you that in his community, there is a phrase in Luo that says, in fact, let me say it in Luo and then I'll try and translate. Okay. That Ogwange chayo, gweno bendi chayo. In other words, you blame the fox that came and grabbed your chicken, but you also blame the chicken for having gone into places where it could be grabbed by a fox. And so I want to attempt to actually strike that balance on this critical issue. First of all, anything security, I don't think it should be brought to a debate. Security at personal, community, or national. And so it should never get to a point whereby we are debating somebody's security. The only challenge, and that is where I would have liked the LSK guy to be here as a lawyer, because we keep hearing of out-of-court or alternative dispute resolution. I really think that at the level where the judges are, and at the level whereby the head of police is, there should be communication. Because if a judge's security is not guaranteed, then they don't have the platform to actually dispense justice, even to a common mwananchi. And so I think that there should be a balance. For me, I think that both the police, NPS, and the judiciary should have actually talked about this. I don't want to sit here and attempt to actually defend the police. But you see, they don't have the privilege of the microphone like we do. Mheshimiwa Tom and I have the privilege of the microphone. Because that is supposed to be a disciplined force. So there are a number of things that they should be dealing with in the background. That statement that you basically put forward, I will leave it at that. I don't think that I want to delve into it because Kenyans can easily tell. But I want to hold a clear position that the security of a judge should not be based on a statement like that.
And it is so suspicious because it's just 2 days after the judge issued a sentencing that is supposed to send the acting police boss to prison for 6 months. And it is the same acting, police boss who, I should rather say, who is now convicted, who issued that particular statement. And many people, and including the LSK, say this is a direct assault on the judiciary, it being an independent arm of government as well.
I want to agree with the LSK fully, because if you have been following this case all along, this judge never pronounced himself at once. There were summons, given several, and all of them were ignored.
Yes.
So it's a clear indication that the Inspector General was defiant and decided on his own that he will not appear. Let me borrow from what Dr. is talking about here. Within the 7 summons given, he had the opportunity to reach the judiciary in silence. And nobody would have known what was been done behind the tent. But because he never reached for the judiciary, and now the action is being seen after 2 days, I think this one is a very bad indication to the government, not even himself, because people reading from what's happening now will say he's having backing of somebody. Because you cannot defy court orders, you cannot defy a sentence in a country, in a democratic society like Kenya, a country which is ruled by the rule of law. You cannot, an individual cannot do this unless somebody somewhere is protecting him.
Ian, you tamper justice with mercy. That is important. And I like the fact that we're already beginning to sit on different sides on this matter with my friend Mheshimiwa here. I blame both sides. But I also accuse the media.
Why?
You've had Mheshimiwa mention that there were 7 summons. Many times the media has said that there were 7 summons. You know for a fact. If you don't know for a fact, then do your research. That there were not 7 summons.
How many were there?
3. Now, so do your research. And
pull it out for you in a moment.
And don't do your research from... actually, if you're a lawyer, they will tell you why there were basically 3 summons. The other sessions were not necessarily summons. But
Dr.
No. I mean, I need to finish my point.
Just a moment. even as I try to pull out that for you.
Yes.
Whether it is 7,
No,
whether
no,
it is 2,
but I've not finished my statement.
Okay.
So I don't want you to consume it.
Okay.
So I want you to actually correct that as a matter of fact. Now, even with that, even if it is just 1 summon, they don't have to be 7. They don't have to be 3. They don't have to be however many. Even with that, there should have been a way, because I wonder what the role of the AG is. If a government officer has been summoned, then you actually send a lawyer to represent that person. So it shouldn't be that the IG should have appeared himself. He could have actually sent a lawyer if it was something that actually was regarding his office. But if it is something that personally, he would send a personal lawyer. Those are provisions that are there. So to that extent, I think that I hold the IG responsible in failing to actually do that. But at the same time, I also think that there was, in fact, I don't know whether this statement is correct, where you can say that there's judicial overreach. I don't know if that is correct. The lawyer would have corrected me. I think there was some bit of an excess here because you as a judge, and that's why I started with saying that you temper justice with mercy, because as a judge, when you're dealing with critical issues like security, that is where you have the provision of going in camera, whereby you can say, okay, fine, this is not for the media, let's go in camera and discuss this. Because what has happened now, the whole security system has been put at risk. That is the truth, because we hold IG with, I mean, Mheshimiwa here has come here with a driver and his security. If the head of that security is compromised, is in jail, you know, or has been sentenced, I mean, to what extent are his officers going to actually, who's going to be taking orders from who? So I think there are things, because even that, the judiciary, even K24 today, I mean, as I was coming in, there was security. I mean, I didn't just walk in. I had to report to the security downstairs and report to the security here and basically come in. So matters security should be handled differently. Actually, in my view, they should not be screaming headlines like this on matters security. And how we got here, both the fox and the chicken must bear the blame.
Now, Honorable Tom, I know you want to respond to that, but I just want us to hold on to that because Wakili will come in and we'll talk about that later on in our conversation, because when you also talk about security, you know, the whole saga is surrounding the disappearance of three gentlemen, three Kenyans who their whereabouts remain unknown up to now. And, you know, to anybody out there, if it was probably an immediate family member, you'd treat it as a very, very urgent and serious matter. And for someone, you know, in the stage of an IG to be summoned on, you know, such an issue and fail to appear and then move to, you know, do what happened yesterday, it raises concerns and you know, a lot of questions. But we'll talk about that later on. Let's just move to the Star newspaper this particular morning. And Honorable Tom Odege, let me start with you again. And this is something that we'll talk about also later on, because the CS for Treasury, that is John Badi, did you know, make some admissions yesterday. But they say how 14 governors grew on source revenue. They say the top performing governor in regards to raising you know, on-source revenue is Governor Gladys Wanga, who raised the on-source revenue from 146 million in 2022 to 1.2 billion in 2024. Honorable Member, amid the, you know, tussle in regards to the allocation to counties by the national government, do you think counties can also boost their, you know, funding from on-source revenue? Because if, for example, Gladys Wanga has, you know, been able to raise the on-source revenue from 146 million to 1.2 billion, the likes of Garissa Governor Nathif Jamar has raised the on-source revenue from 65 million to 248 million. It shows that, you know, counties can be able to, you know, increase on-source revenue, because there seems to be loopholes which, if can be sealed, then it can help in, you know, sorting out the shortfalls that we have in terms of funding.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go back to the era of county councils, or when we used to have municipal council, county councils. The councils used not to get money from the exchequer or from the national government. They were generating their own revenue and they were running their activities successfully. Where we went wrong, when counties realized they could get money from the national government, they sat back and they remained in their comfort zone and they stopped looking for revenue to help them fund their counties. So some of the new governors, those who have come in, have realized there is an opportunity which they are tapping on, because they're allowed to generate their own revenue up to a level they can. So if governors like Wanga have discovered that and they are now raising money to help them achieve their objectives, I think we need just to congratulate them and urge those governors who are still sleeping to wake up so that they can generate more revenue to enable them to be efficient in the service delivery to the people. Those opportunities are there, but majority of governors are comfortable with the money from Nairobi. Okay. That's why they don't look for those money. And there are some governors who are also using those monies as their pocket money. There is corruption also there. That's why they don't declare the actual amount there.
Fair enough. Dr. Ari, what do you make of, you know, this particular headline in regards to counties being able to raise their own source revenue?
You know, Ian, I just came from home, from the village yesterday. My home is on Fangano Island in Lake Victoria, a small village called Mauta. Devolution was meant to actually create a difference in those basically sites. And so without sounding pessimistic, I see this headline by Star, in my view, as misplaced. Because it's been 2 years, and I've not seen a single thing that the county has done with all that much money that has been raised. Because on-source revenue means that actually it is my mother and my villagers who run those small kiosks that actually pay the taxes. And the same way, you know, the Gen Zs came and said, okay, fine, we want to see the value of our taxes. Is the same way I accuse this headline. Because if we have raised, and I'm saying if we have raised is it 1.6?
1.2.
1.20.
1.2 billion in Homa Bay. And I'm not feeling it in my village. Then there's a problem. There's a big problem. So I'm not going to go with these numbers that you actually publish here. But if that has been raised, I want to congratulate my governor for the job well done. So that is good. But that is only if these numbers are true. I want to see a serious audit of these numbers and where that money has gone. Because I've not seen it in my village. And that's really the essence of devolution. And that is why I actually support CDF. I think NCDF should stay, because that's the only money that we see at the village level. That's the only money that I see in my school. And that just the other day I saw a tractor doing some road, just about 200 meters road in a village next to mine. I want to see where 1.2 billion has gone. So I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, hallelujah, great numbers. I want to see, hey, hallelujah, great numbers. I saw 20 million, or I saw 10 million, or I saw 5 million in my. But it's a good step, a good direction. But we should not be celebrating this now, because that's something that we should have been celebrating year 2 of devolution, and that is almost 12 years ago.
Okay.
Or 10 years ago.
You have something to say?
It's very interesting because Mark here is from Homa Bay, and me, I'm not from Homa Bay. And when I see a governor of Homa Bay has declared 1.2 billion, what I was expecting from him is now to go down to the county and start asking for the services, because the money is already there, sounded by the governor of Homa Bay. So those who are looking at this paper, plus myself, we have a reason to go back to our governors and ask them, if Homa Bay is raising 1.2 and we are just the neighbors here, what are we doing? It's like we are sleeping. So to me, I want to congratulate my neighbors, Homa Bay County, for a job well done. So now for the residents of Homa Bay County, it's now upon them to demand for accountability and services. But by declaring this money, it's a good move for the governor. And we have to congratulate her for that. Fair
enough. We'll talk about that issue later on, because you sit in the National Assembly.
Yes.
And I attended sessions that pitted the Senate Committee on Finance. You know, the governors were appearing before that particular committee, and they faulted the National Assembly for you know, reducing the allocation from 400 to 380 billion. Governors say they will not take the 380, they want 400 billion. But we'll talk about that because yesterday, CS Mbadi said, you know, we have to live within our means, and governors should take the 380 billion. But away from that, there are two stories here. One, you know, regarding the Raila Odinga AUC bid, because the government, Honorable, we agree that the government is funding this, you know, campaign entirely.
That is for ODM.
Yes, the government is funding this you know, campaign entirely. But they say there's a fallout over the Arambe for Raila Odinga because the forum was called, I think, FOBA, Friends of Baba, AUC, if I'm not wrong, and they were trying to, you know, look for money that will help in spearheading the campaign for Raila Odinga. But the PS for Foreign Affairs, that is Dr. Corey Sing'oei, you know, distanced himself from those particular, you know, Arambes, because he's the head of the secretariat, and he said we're not, you know, looking for money to help Raila Odinga in his, you know, campaigns because the government is fully funding this, you know, particular campaign. I mean, that alone paints, you know, looks like it's not a good picture on Raila Odinga, because if there are people who are trying to, you know, seek money for campaigns, yet the government has fully funded it, and then it means there's an issue somewhere.
I want to be very honest with you. I'm a member of ODM party. Raila has been my party leader all along until that time when he declared now he wants some leave to go and get time to campaign, which we are fully supporting. On this issue of fundraising, me as a key and strategic member of Raila's team, I can authoritatively say it in the media today that there was nothing of that kind. Because the key people who would have been contacted for fundraising is myself.
So you're saying
alongside the team. And as I'm sitting here, nobody invited me, nobody organized me, nobody requested me to do anything of that kind. So those people who are trying to fundraise for that kind of an activity, I think it's not part of our team. It's not something which was for any good of Raila Odinga, but was purely to damage Raila's reputation. Raila was nowhere, anywhere where he organized any fundraising for his campaign. He has never reached that level.
In fact, it is called Friends of Baba Africa, that is FOBA, founded by Raila Odinga's nephew, Jaoko Oburu.
I don't know. If you read that thing keenly, I don't think Jaoko has committed on the fundraising. If any, then it was done outside our circles.
Well, fair enough. Dr. You said it's an ODM issue. You don't want him to comment.
No. I'll leave it for...
Fair enough.
for
as we wrap up the newspaper review this particular morning, starting with you, Dr. There are claims that there is an impeachment motion in the offing against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. I mean, is a man under siege because last week alone we saw, starting with leaders, MPs from the Mount Kenya East region, saying they will now be, of course, fronting Kithure Kindiki as their link and spokesperson of that particular region. They were joined by 48 other members from Mount Kenya West who said, yes, Kindiki is now a spokesperson. This is a move that is seen as aimed at throwing Rigathi Gachagua, the DP, under the bus, and now there are talks of an impeachment motion. What do you make of that particular development?
You know, I think it must have been on, was it on Saturday, when I saw a picture doing rounds of an empty seat.
Yes, on Sunday. It was yesterday, but he missed the function, a church function, on Sunday in Nyeri County, where the president was in attendance.
Yeah, he missed that. But for me, I saw an empty seat. And I'll leave it at that. And I'll hand it over to...
Sorry for me, Dr. Honorable Tom, I don't know what you make.
It's very interesting. I can see Mark is really...
He's being strategic.
Not really strategic. He's fearing stepping on fire. But some of us were elected to do that. And,
okay.
And me, I want to be very plain on this. I'm an elected member of parliament. I sit on opposition benches. And I'm in the National Assembly to represent the interests of the people. This guy has been representing, he has come out very strongly and publicly saying is representing only two interests, the president and the Mount Kenya. So as a member of the opposition and as an MP representing the interests of the people of Kenya, if at all such a motion is brought before Parliament and is supported by the majority of people is defending from Mount Kenya, we'll go by that. But if the Mount Kenya people are comfortable with it, because with us we represent the interest of the people, we'll go by what the majority are looking for.
When you say you'll go by what the majority are looking for,
yeah,
and then you say you represent the people, so which is which?
That's what I mean. If the guy said very clearly he is defending two interests, interest of Mount Kenya and interest of the president. So we'll test if those two interests are defending him. Then we don't have any problem. Say it's the people he's representing are comfortable with him. But if those people are the ones who will come and say we don't want this guy.
What about the people you represent?
The people I represent has never voted for him and has never supported him, and he's not defending them. So we don't have anything relevant.
Yeah, you have your answer.
I have my answer. I already have my answer. I just wanted to seek further confirmation. But thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, on that note, we just wrapped up the newspaper review this particular morning. We take our second breather. We'll be back with the state of the nation. Don't go away.